your local hope dealer.
Inspiration and dedication. I came a long way from sleeping in them cages. I got my life back, I feel amazing. Life's a book, don't get stuck on sad pages. Rainy days with no money. Hard work leads to days that are sunny. Looking back, it was all needed. The problems, the pain, the trauma, the grieving. You are now tuned in to the Prisoner to Painter. Prisoner to Painter. Hard work, dedication. Rainy days, inspiration. Prisoner to Painter.
And now, a word from your local hope dealer.
Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter Podcast. I'm Nathan McDermott.
And I am Katie McDermott.
And today joining us again is Melinda Jordon.
Hello.
Thank you for coming back on.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having the courage to not only come on once, but twice.
Oh, gosh,
so,
yeah.
But this time, I'm really excited this time. As always, I know we got to hear about your story last time, and then I think people think to themselves, well, man, what the hell are we going to come back on? You started I don't want to say this wrong. I did my research. Well, you helped me, but it is not a nonprofit. It is a social enterprise.
It is
So
a social
what made you
enterprise.
decide to start it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do harm reduction work.
Yep.
I love working in that space and that field. That's, my purpose. I have a friend on Facebook who also does this work.
Okay.
They live in a rural area in Tennessee, and I saw one of their posts about the lack of access to care, to services. They don't have a hospital anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't for a few years. They have one ambulance that has to travel within 270 miles of mountainous terrain. So this is in Appalachia, rural Appalachia. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I message him. I'm like, what do you need? How can I help?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I could use, safety supplies, all the things. He's listing all the things. And then I'm like, okay. And then I start thinking well, is it legal for me to send that stuff? And so I was like, well, so I'm like, well, I better figure it out. So I'm doing some research. I found out it's not. I have to find out, are you a registered SSP? It's not, it's mutual aid group. So no, it's not. Certain things I can't send. And I'm like, well, how can I do this? So that really was the catalyst for me to start the business, Just Helping Out. And I set it up as a social enterprise versus a nonprofit, just because I've worked in the nonprofit space for about 5 years, and I just see the struggles and the restrictions of grant cycles and grants showing up and then going away, and that really just being a huge issue. And then when a program is completely grant dependent and that grant leaves, the likelihood of that grant failing, if we can't sustain that, with other revenue streams, that is a huge issue. It's the biggest issue to the people who are serving. So I decided to do a social enterprise to focus on multiple streams of income and just really not want to be dependent on grants. And so that's why I did it that way.
Is that the only difference between a social enterprise and a nonprofit?
So I do profit from the business, and nonprofits, they still get paid, right? But it's a really heavily just grant funded. Nonprofits are, and they don't pay taxes. I do pay taxes. So there are a few distinct differences, but.
Okay.
I feel like one big thing that people get stuck on, and so I just want to get this right out of the way at the beginning. Well, you profit. That does not take away from what you're doing and how much you're helping out.
Sure.
I don't even know if that's a question, but I say that because it's like I feel like that is something people hear. Oh, well, it's not a nonprofit, so they're going to make money. Yeah,
sure.
Well, you'd be naive.
Make money.
Yeah, well, you'd be naive to think that you don't need money, though.
Sure,
you need to make money.
Well, it has to be sustainable, right?
Yep,
For me
exactly.
to keep doing this work, I need to be able to make money to pay my bills and live my life.
Exactly.
So that, it just makes sense.
Yep.
People who start nonprofits also get paid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you kind of answered some of the first questions in your little intro. I am going to expand more on, you said it, is it Jellico or Helico?
Jellico. So it's Campbell County, Tennessee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges they're facing? You mentioned there's no hospital, that the ambulances is going very far distances. Are they like a food desert? Things like that?
So from what my partner out there has shared with me, they're it's just so rural. There's a lot of folks, just they live in the mountainous area in Appalachia. And so they just don't have access. They face inclement weather. There's a lot of I don't know if there's a ton of people experiencing homelessness, but enough of them where that really affects them. And I know that public health is an issue out there. They have, lots of issues with Hep C, living with HIV, those sorts of things. Just they're not able to access the care that they need. They're not able to access, things like naloxone, safer use supplies, all of the things, right?
Right.
They are, I think the way that he described it is that they're like too rural to get the funding that Knoxville gets, but they're technically a part of Knoxville, so they don't get rural funding. And so they're in this gray area where they're just really underserved and underfunded.
Now, it being in Appalachia, is there some like cultural things that kind of is a barrier to services as well? Because I know like a lot of people live out there and they talk about the forests and things of that nature. So is there like this barrier in like services like mental health and things like that aren't approached properly because of the cultural belief in that area?
Sure, I can't really speak to that. I just really started helping him out with the needs that he stated to me that were needed there. And so I don't have a lot of insight into that. I think I would be the wrong person to be speaking on that since I'm not from the area, but
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, if I had answers, I'd give them to you.
Well, and we bounce all around. Even if we write a format, we still somehow don't follow it. What inspired you to start it? I know I feel like you just briefly sprinkled that in there. Can we expand on that a little more? Because we know you, so I feel like there's a lot more what inspired you to start this thing.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it was a lot, right? So I do work for a grant-funded program. I manage a harm reduction program that is grant-funded. With the current administration, you just never know what's going to happen. And I am like so tired of just being like, okay, if we lose this grant, I lose my job, right?
Yeah.
If I lose this program, I'm not working. And so I just really wanted to start building something for myself, something that I deeply believe in, which is still this work, helping people, stepping a little bit out of the role of doing the direct work, but then supporting the supporters. Like I'm all about like bolstering up and helping grassroots initiatives, mutual aid groups, things like that. Like these people know how to take care of their communities already. How can I help? You know what I mean? So a part of that looks like I can offer capacity building. I can offer, administrative support, whatever that looks like for them. I can help them build documents or ways to like streamline their whatever organization they're trying to run. So a lot of times they just don't know how to do that, or they just don't want to do it. It's too much work for them. And that's where I can also come in. And then I brought in my art into that as one of the revenue streams. Art has been very, very healing for me. And I wanted to be able to sell that and take those proceeds and put it in what I call the Community Impact Fund.
Awesome.
And that's the money that supports and purchases the supplies that I send to rural areas.
Where do you put this on display?
My art?
Yeah.
So I have a website. It's called Just Helping Out Health. JustHelpingOutHealth.org.
Awesome.
And at the bottom there is a link that says Harmless Art Shop, and so that's where my art is. I also have a shop like Shopify.
You said Just Helping Out Health?
Yes, .org. And I am actually getting ready to do a art show in May.
Awesome.
Yes, we'll be doing that in Ann Arbor at Bloom Mead and Cider.
Okay.
I have some wonderful doctors and providers in Ann Arbor that I'm good friends with who believe in this work and are using their leverage and the resources that they have to help me put this on.
Awesome.
I actually have 3 folks who also do ceramics coming on to donate their pieces. And 100% of those proceeds would go to purchasing supplies for right now it's Jellico, but other folks too once the situations arise and I'm able to help some other people as well.
So 2 things real quick. I want to get you connected. We got to interview Steampunk Eddie. He won Steampunked or something. Okay. I'd like to get you 2 connected. Maybe he can donate something.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I mean, I think his name might just bring more people.
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
Cool.
Awesome.
And then I don't remember.
Second thought.
Oh yeah. Please, before you leave, tell us what day so we can come show support.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
It's May 9th. It's May 9th from 2 to 5 at Bloom. Yep, in Ann Arbor.
We will be there.
Yeah, I will share the flyer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like, we would like to be there.
Oh, it's lighting. It's just lighting. You can turn the balance back up.
Sorry, I'm good. I'm sorry.
It's the glare. It's
I'm
the natural
like,
lighting.
bro, I am gonna lose my shit over this.
It's been had an ongoing issue today.
You can turn it up if you want.
Is
It'll
that
help.
really what's happening?
Yes,
Is
it's
it
the
that-
natural light is
is it
controlling the
adjusting?
aperture of the
It's
camera.
adjusting itself. It is.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Sorry, so
guys.
you said supplies. What type of supplies are you sending?
Sure. So I send wound care supplies, feminine hygiene products. When it was really cold, I sent down some hot hands, some hand warmers. Like I mentioned, there were some folks that, were experiencing homelessness. And I think sometimes they open a warming center there, but folks are not wanting to go and access it because of how they've been treated in the past. So that is creating a barrier to people even wanting to get help, which I know you're familiar with in the work that you do.
Yes.
Curiously, Ann Arbor or where you service is very, or that area, Ipsy or whatever, are very welcoming to that community. Is it odd for you to hear other communities not be as welcoming?
Not really, because I've worked in Hillsdale.
Oh, okay.
So I do know that, I don't know what it is, and I don't want to speak for all rural areas, but in Hillsdale, I know that I had experienced the same type of thing I had worked for Hope House, and we moved the men's house into Hillsdale versus Jonesville, and that was an entire issue. I've experienced it before. I hear about it. It's really not, people who use drugs and people who live substance use disorder or addiction oftentimes are highly stigmatized. People have their biases. They don't want to see it. They don't want it around. And so, and then even if they are in the helping position or a helping profession to help folks with substance use disorder or people who use drugs, they have biases as well. And so I think the way that they think about the people that they're treating or caring for is supposed to care for, the way they talk about it, the way that the previous doctor has documented the chart, all of that goes into play to creating this huge barrier to folks feeling comfortable to even access the care that they need.
Right. And then also there's things like, I know there's certain areas, it's like a political stigma. It's people's beliefs really control the way that they view the general population.
Yeah.
And, not everybody has the luxury to live in an area where their beliefs align with the majority.
Yeah.
So do you think that that's something that's also happening in Tennessee?
It could very well be. Like I said, I haven't been there, so it's not my community. And so I don't really want to speak too heavily to that, but I can only imagine. Places like Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti are very progressive.
Yes.
And so it tends to be a different type of landscape. And so I'm very, blessed to be able to do the work there, but I can tell you that folks there are still not super excited to access care, healthcare, mental health care, those types of things are still a barrier.
And it's fear too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not being perceived as something that you don't want to be perceived as, or
not being believed, being believed if you have legitimate pain. If another doctor has documented that you have substance use disorder, or I had, a urine screen that came back positive for a substance, then they're right away going to be suspicious and not want to give you anything for your legitimate pain. And I think that is a huge barrier for folks.
And especially people who live with disabilities that are unseen.
Sure.
And chronic pain and things like that. That's just awful, because you want people to feel their best.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And some people are using for survival, right?
Yes.
You are experiencing homelessness. Yeah. It is dangerous to go to sleep at night. Your things could get stolen. You could get hurt. Lots of things could happen. And so there are substances that can keep you awake at night, right? Yep. And so I think a lot of times that's not taken into consideration.
No, it's not. And sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I don't think that's taken into consideration enough, or the I can't speak for anybody else but myself, but when I was homeless, I feel like I drank more, and it wasn't like a coping mechanism. It was just, it's just a different world.
Sure.
It just really, I don't know how else to explain it. Like I've been there, and until you've been there, I just don't feel like you can properly. That might not be the right thing, unless you have like a heart of gold or whatever. But I don't think you can properly understand it until you've been there. It's hard. It's hard, man. So
I have never experienced homelessness myself, so I never want to come off as I definitely understand it, but I, definitely have a huge heart for.
Well, in the work you do is the closest you're ever gonna get. I take anything you say about it to the heart, because I know you mean it, and you do so much for that community. I'm saying for these like doctors, when I went to IOP, just a good example, Doug Rickman. I love this guy. I've loved Doug Rickman for his, and I learned from him because he was a drunk for 30 years. Yeah. It's and then the guy that I went to after, I guess he ended up coming back, because everybody's like, what the hell, Doug? But Doug left, and then he got replaced with a younger guy, and it was you can't learn nothing from this, because he just didn't understand what it was to be an alcoholic.
It wasn't your style, and it wasn't.
Well, it wasn't just me. It was just he didn't understand what it was to be a drunk. Like
Sure.
he just he read the book, and this is how I help people.
And it's so much different. Textbook learning is so much different than life experience.
Yeah.
I feel the same exact way about any type of provider. That's another piece of my business as well, is offering trainings and consulting for, documentation or the language that should be used or how we should be addressing folks with substance use disorder or people who use drugs in the rooms. I mean, trust needs to be rebuilt between providers and that community of folks. Otherwise, they're not going to access care. They're not going to get the care that they deserve. And there's not going to be any, and even if they do, there's not an open discussion in the room. They're going to be too afraid to say the truth.
Yep.
And if there's no truth, then the help that you need is not going to be available.
So what does unbiased, real help look like actually on the ground, not in in a conversation setting? Like, what does it look like actually boots on the ground?
You mean in the community or?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, managing a program that does harm reduction outreach, we show up consistently for folks. We are there every week when we say we're going to be. We let them know when we can't be, if something arises, and just building that trust. I mean, we supply things that they need, but we also are there for conversation and just holding that space for people to feel seen and to be heard,
right,
and to tell their story with zero judgment, with just or if you can even relate, I have been a person with substance use disorder too. I've had a lot of chaotic use in my past. And so being able to just have that bond with them in that moment when they're so vulnerable and telling me about, something that they've experienced, and me saying, me too. I experienced it that way too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or, it wasn't like that for me, but this is how it was. Just having that, that commonality, I think, is huge.
Right.
And offering them space to just be who they are and say what they need to say, and not judging them. I mean, that really is the biggest piece. They're humans. Everyone is the human being, right?
Yep.
So we need to remember that people are not their behaviors. They are not, the things that they're using or doing. We are human beings.
Right. You can't judge somebody on their last worst moment. You should judge them on their last best moment.
Well, I think it's just difficult to judge people at all anyways. We never know what they're going through. I mean, the way we live our lives might not be the way that someone else wants to live their life, and no one is the authority on anyone else's life.
Well, I mean, more
I
so
agree.
judging of character. I would rather judge someone's character on their best moment than their worst. And I think a lot of people have that flipped.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I agree with 100%, because being judged on your last worst deed is that's when I was a drunk drug addict being I'd be damned if you judge me on that now, Getting back kind of to where we were going. I want to read this briefly. It is Nathan from Jellico shared this about his situation locally, and then we'll get right back on it. Our community here has no hospital, and we haven't for a few years now. We have no shelter here, and the closest one is about 30 minutes away. They might open a warming shelter occasionally, but no one goes due to how they've been treated. I know you shared that. Our unhoused folks struggle with the basic necessities to survive the day. Nonetheless, when we have inclement weather. I'm just kidding. Just Helping Out has provided feminine hygiene products, hand warmers, wound care supplies, and other basic necessities for our community members that they otherwise wouldn't have had access to. With additional funding, I could help them with more resources during inclement weather, a steady flow of hygiene and wound care products, and other resources they need to meet basic human needs.
Basic human needs.
That's the reason why I wanted to read that, because I was the one sentence at the bottom.
Yeah.
People deserve more than that.
Yeah.
And a basic human need I feel is insane that we even have to talk about that.
I agree.
I think that is mind blowing to me, but
Everybody deserves access to food, clean water, housing, and healthcare.
Well, see, we were just talking about this with a friend of ours, Justin Counts, and I say his name freely, and how we are in the community. We do stuff with every type of person. Justin is at least me and him see the same page. Housing is a basic human right at this point. Now, I mean, there's building after building after building with nobody in it.
Yes.
It's a right now. You have a right to have a roof over your head.
Sure.
But I guess it isn't. I mean, in the eyes of our government, I guess it isn't. But
we won't go there.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
sorry.
we asked a little bit about the social enterprise instead of a nonprofit. So, how does it allow you to respond differently to community needs?
So there are when you have a funder, there are restrictions. They tell you what you can and can't say, what you can spend your money on. This is another huge catalyst for why I set it up this way. It allows me the flexibility to say, oh, I've identified a need. I'm going to say what needs to be said about it, and I'm going to buy what I need to buy to help that need, to close that gap, to bridge that gap, right? I don't need funders telling me what to do.
No, I agree.
Point blank period. Yeah, point blank period. Man, heck yes. Yeah, just speaking about that briefly, my buddy Chris down in where was he when he lived? Tennessee, when that hurricane came through or whatever the heck it was.
Florida.
It
was Florida and his apartment flooded.
No, that wasn't what it is. But it wasn't Florida. There was some storm that came through when he was worked for that nonprofit in Tennessee or Kentucky.
I know what you're talking about.
But so anyway, same problem that they had, that there was a need that they couldn't find and they couldn't pay for it. So I got him hooked up with the memorial home that buried my uncle, and they sent down like 100 body bags for him. But it was like pulling teeth to get body bags that they couldn't buy
because of policies.
Yeah, and it's like, what the hell?
It was
dude?
for the flooding in Texas.
That's what it was. The flooding.
But
I was like, what in the hell is going on? Like we're pulling teeth here about a body bag. Just send body bags. Politics, man.
So your funding is mainly your art.
It is right now, yes, and donations. And I do, like I mentioned, offer consultation, consulting services. So I'm working on trainings for healthcare and university settings to help upcoming providers and providers that are already in the field on just really fostering that relationship and rebuilding that trust so that folks who are using substances can access care more readily.
So you call it Harmless Art.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Harmless Art. It's kind of like, playing to harm reduction, right? So harmless. It really has, like I said, been a really healing thing for me. I started painting about 6 years ago when I myself stopped using substances so chaotically. And so that really has been something I've leaned on through the years and has just offered such a great amount of healing for me. So it just made sense for me to bring that into this work that I'm doing. It was a way for me to be able to start a revenue stream for that. The name, it's something I've always wanted to, I wanted to do art shows. I never knew what that was going to look like. I didn't know it was going to be tied to a business that, that I was doing to help communities. And so the name just kind of came naturally. It's funny, the name Just Helping Out, I started this business just, very impulsively, sporadically from that catalyst. I was like, okay, I need to start a business. What does it take? And so I'm doing all these things just very, very rapid fire quickly. And so I'm setting up these accounts with distributors that I already have through my other job. And so then they're like, in the forum, it's like name of your organization. And I was like, I don't know, I'm just helping out. Right. And so that's really where that name came from. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just helping out. So that's the name, and that's where that came from. And Harmless Art was just easy for me just because it's helping to harm less. Right.
Dude, I love that small little rabbit trail here. We started a business, not, different, but same concept. Her friend Amanda said that I just have a heart to serve, is what she said one day. And I fucking held on to that. It's Servants Hearts LLC. Like I held on to that. I don't know why.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Awesome.
But it's kind of funny how a name can work.
It really can.
It's like, oh wow, I guess that's the name.
Yeah, and it really can be, and it's so funny because that's literally all I want to do is just help out. Yep. So it just made sense.
Yep. Yeah. No, I love that. I love that.
So how does creativity play a role in your life, your mission, and your recovery?
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Well, okay, I don't like the word recovery, but
your journey.
In my self-discovery journey.
Yes.
How does creativity play a role in that?
Yes.
I think, like I said, I mentioned the painting. I'm always looking at different ways. I went from just being like a, acrylic painter to now I do mixed media. And then it's like, now I'm really doing these textures right now. That's this whole collection that's going into this art show is going to be these really rich, amazing textures. And it's like intuitive painting.
Yeah.
And so I have not dabbled in that very much. This is brand new for me. And let me just tell you, this has been the most amazing healing. I have no idea what's going to come out on this canvas. I don't know how this is going to turn out. And so really it's this conversation between like my soul and the canvas. And so the healing that a lot of times, or the wounds that maybe didn't have words, are finding their way onto this canvas. And there's just this feeling of like a coherence by the time I'm done with it. I always have that middle part where I'm just wrestling with it. And I'm like, I hate this. This is terrible. I want to throw it out the window. But I've come to recognize that as like my part of my process. It really is you too.
It's a type A thing, okay?
I hate this painting. I don't want anyone to see it.
Good. No.
It is literally phenomenal. She's like, I hate it.
Yes.
Whatever,
I'm gonna
dude.
shred it to pieces.
Scribble it
So
out.
my creativity also, I'm sorry, I kind of like went off the rails
That's
with that
okay.
one.
Good.
But my creativity just, it's hard to speak about that in other aspects of my life, I guess. I mean, I don't think I look at a lot of things as creative, but then I'll hear from somebody like, oh, that was a really creative way to think about that. And so I think something that we are like naturally good at, or something that comes natural to us, we don't maybe see it as the way another person would see it or describe it. So it's hard for me to, so if you want to elaborate a little bit on that, or.
I think you were going the right direction. So like creative thinking, like abstract thinking. So
Sure.
it's not black and white.
Yeah.
Or like the solution
Yeah.
of selling your art
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
help others.
Yeah.
That's also very creative.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like
I
ways
feel you.
that you needed to get creative in your journey
Yeah.
on like how to stay on the path
Sure.
that you're on.
Yeah. Okay.
Ways that have helped you be able to give back what you do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So for the journey that I'm on, I knew that these traditional things like the 12 steps and all of the things, right? The NA, the AA, that was not my path. But I do a lot of that work on my own, right? We've talked before about shadow work and inner child work
Yes.
and meditation and mindfulness. And those things have helped me just exponentially. I did a deep dive into spirituality. I was raised Catholic. That is not, that did not vibe with me any longer. That's no dig to people who are Catholic. It's just not who I am. I've never felt like I could really fit into any of the boxes that society tries to place upon us, right? And so I really started just digging deep and looking at, like, I looked at Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, witchcraft, just all of the things, all of the spirit, like indigenous practices, shamanism, all of the things. And just, so I did really this eclectic style of like what works for me. And so that, I guess, would be seen as like maybe a creative way to like, to kind of continue down that healing path and do things and enrich my life. I love to look at life like everything is a ritual. It's a conversation between you and the universe. This is, I co-create with the energies that be, whatever that looks like for you. And so just really leaning into that, that's really helped me to continue on the path that I'm on as far as, my self-discovery and just being open and flexible to like that morphing and changing and realizing like if something isn't fitting anymore, then we just need to let that go, right? And to let it go lovingly and thinking it for the time that it served us and just realizing it's not for us anymore. So I guess, yeah, with that. And then, you heard the creativeness with like just trying to like, how can I solve this problem?
Yeah.
And so just building trainings, bringing in my art. I'm always open to like, that morphing and changing over time too. So that's really how it helps me to solve problems and opening up this business.
Okay.
I try not to go down this rabbit hole much, but whenever there's an opening, I do.
Do it.
So I'm going to take it.
Let's
I'm
go.
going to take it. I always just love when the 12 steps come up in conversation because I've always said this. I guess 12 steps is for like, I'm just getting sober or something of that nature. It is very, to me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got to the point that you're speaking of that it's like, I needed an expansion. Like I just,
sure.
Going down the list 1 through 12. I don't know how to explain
And then
it.
repeat.
Well, it's almost like it is a child's book. And then what we're doing is like the adult version of like I don't know how to explain.
So
it,
beginners and advanced.
yeah, I mean, really, because there comes a point that's like I just can't do step 4 for the 50th time. Like I need to go to church, or I need to.
You need
or
other pieces.
I need
right?
something.
It can't be just that.
It can't.
Right?
It
Yeah.
cannot be.
I have
It-
many other issues with 12-step programs, but that's for another podcast.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. But yeah, no, and I say it because I'll never knock anybody. That's how I got sober. But I haven't been to a meeting in a long time.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But
Yeah. The last meeting I went to was for a friend's. I went to in support of
Yeah.
a friend.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yep.
You want to talk as art as advocacy for a minute?
Art as advocacy. Yeah. I mean, you see what I'm doing. I'm having that art show. I advocate for communities that don't have the things that they need. And so that opens up a space for like conversation, people who love art and want to come talk about it. and they come and see the art, then, you know, they're going to ask naturally what it's about. Let's, you know, and so getting into those conversations that might be a little harder to have or for them to hear. I think when we're looking at art or we're doing anything like in nature or when our minds are a little bit more open. And so I think that it really can help to be in those spaces to kind of like soften some things and have some discussions with your heart a little more open.
And I think art
and your mind.
And I think art as a whole, not even just artwork, art, anything art wise, will put totally different people in the same room.
Sure,
So you have an audience that you would
yeah.
never have together
Absolutely.
at the same
Well,
time.
there's also subclasses of art. I was actually going to ask how you feel about performance art that would like juxtapose the world of people who go to galleries and the world of people you're trying to serve.
Yeah, I absolutely love all art. So I can't do it. I could not imagine doing it myself because I'm like, you know, I'm nervous just to come here and talk to you all. But gosh, yeah, love that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think that's cool because I think of what we're doing kind of as that. It's different, but it's like the people I could talk to are people I would never be in the same room with now because of this. But it's like, but what you're doing, it's like same thing. I mean, you'll get two different types of people in a room that you would never have in the same room for any other reason.
Yeah,
so that's
definitely,
awesome. That's really awesome.
Which then is, we're looking at our little notes here.
Okay.
Art is bridging, is a bridge to difficult conversations, which is why I brought up maybe like the performance art or the different types. You said you mainly do like mixed media. When you are having a show and there are, how would you use that as the catalyst to bridge that difficult conversation?
Well, so I think, you know, we advertise for one thing as, you know, what this is for. It's supporting community care. So it's Art That Leaves a Mark is the name of the art show that we're having. So folks already kind of know, you know, what they're coming for. So it's like an afternoon of like art advocacy and care. And so I think, you know, folks who are coming to that room are expecting a conversation. We have, we'll have like awareness table set out, some different resources out about harm reduction. I'll have that impact statement from Nate about his community. And so just having these things available in these spaces, I think is a good way to help to bridge those conversations and get them going and get people thinking. I also, we have another meeting, the group and I that are doing this art show at the end of the month, and we were looking at having a few people just really talk about their story. And so just having all these little pieces to make it more real and to advocate for the things that are going on and to kind of, you know, paint people with expertise of experience in, you know, living a life like this as the experts instead of someone to be pitied or someone that, you know, is less than, or, you know, I think those things really, really help.
Fuck, that was deep. No, seriously, that was so. Well, in bridging different, I feel like art does that in itself, but okay, I don't know how. So some art, you go and you talk to them, and they're like, "Yeah, it's because I was harming myself," and then how do you know who's authentically asking and learning, and who's just there just to stroke their ego or just to whatever? Like, are you a good judge of that, or how does that work?
Well, I feel like I am. I feel like I definitely am a good judge of that. I think it's about energy, right? I know a lot of people maybe aren't in tune to that, but I mean, I think that most likely people who are showing up to this are going to be people that care about, you know, what has been advertised and they genuinely want to ask. You can tell when someone is bullshitting you, right? Like when they're just asking to ask, or maybe they just want to talk to you, but that, you know what I mean? So you can definitely tell the difference. And I think that, you know, our story changes a little bit depending on who we're talking to. And so just being able to pick up on those energies.
Yeah, I say I'm an open book, but people get different pages.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that is what it is,
you
know?
Yeah, for sure.
Man. Damn, I came up with that on
I might
the fly.
leave a whole chapter out. That was a good one. I'm gonna use it. I'm stealing it.
So what can people expect from Art That Leaves a Mark?
From Art That Leaves a Mark. So like I said, my art will be there. I have 3 other amazing potters, ceramics artists who are going to be there. One of them is a provider, amazing provider in Washtenaw County. And I haven't seen any of the pieces yet, but I've seen other pieces that they've made and they're going to be wonderful. That I was able to, you know, I have a really wonderful network of folks in Washtenaw County that really believe in this work. And so I really just want to cry. I can't imagine, or I can't even believe or express to you like how amazing this process has been and how things have just kind of fallen into line. Just having them believe, you know how it is, you get that imposter syndrome, so having them believe in you so much. You know, my one friend, Eliza Hutchinson, she's believed in me since she met me. And I always tell her, like, you know, you've always seen something in me that I don't see in myself. And it's, you know, I'm getting used to, I'm getting past it, working through those situations, but it's hard. It's really hard. Right. But so I'm getting off track. So I've just had this really wonderful group of folks. And so we are having 3 different potters. We'll have my art there. It is at Bloom Mead and Cider. And so there'll be drinks there. There'll also be non-alcoholic drinks as well. So we didn't want to exclude anyone. We wanted everyone to be able to feel comfortable and have what they want to have. And I mean, yeah, that's kind of what you can expect there. It's from 2 to 5. You can expect to see some beautiful art, some beautiful pieces. And if you want to donate or buy any pieces, then you can expect that money to go into rural communities where it needs to be going.
Okay.
Dude, awesome. Seriously. What's next?
What's next?
What's next?
Oh gosh. Well, hopefully I can get some of these trainings going.
Yep.
That would be amazing. That would open up some more revenue streams for me to do a little bit more with people. You know, I would love to. I had to build my website myself. I would love to get that redone. I think it's okay now. I think it's okay for right now. I would love to be able to find some other folks that need some help. And I can only do that if I have the capacity to do it, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, that's what's next for me as far as I know. I'm studying for sociology. I'm going to continue. I'll get the sociology degree is the idea, right? And then I'm thinking about getting a master's in public administration. Awesome. I just really want to do this consultancy business. I just really want to work for myself eventually solely. So I think that can open up the doors for that. But the work needed to start right now.
Quick question, because we talked about this last time with you, and you had a phenomenal answer. Now I'm going to tie them both together. You already needed self-care for everything that you do. Now you added this on top of it. How is your self-care looking?
How are you navigating burnout and managing your self-care with your added responsibilities?
Well, so I go to the gym 6 days a week, which probably doesn't sound like self-care, but it truly is. There is so much that frustrates me in this work, and so many injustices and so many broken systems, and I just want to burn it all down. And so to mitigate the harm in my own life, I go to the gym, or the harm that might come to anyone else with me having feelings like that. I go to the gym and I lift heavy weights.
Awesome.
Ethan. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I also paint a lot, especially, you know, right now I'm trying to really make sure that my art doesn't turn into work. So still leaning into like, this is healing for me, creating a beautiful piece versus, and that's why I leaned into the abstract, into the textured, into the intuitive, because if I'm painting a landscape, I'm going to get 2 in my head. I'm creating this for this art show. It has to be, you know what I mean? All of these other narratives are going to start coming into play. And so really just sitting in that room with, you know, modeling paste, with joint compound, with canvas, and putting it all down and letting it just evolve out of me has been really healing. And that's another piece of my self-care. Yeah,
there was a quote that I read. It's not that the momentum's slowing down, it's that you have to stay consistent. Yeah. And that's what I found about this is nothing's slowing down about this. More people are hearing about it. Everything's I have to have the same that I had it's on me. Sure. And so I just related that to your art, like not to make it a job, but also I have to have the same drive at the same time.
We spoke about being complacent earlier. Yeah. And that can happen. I mean, it does happen. Just, I think the idea is to realize when it is happening and then just kind of pull yourself out of it, right?
Yep.
Have you ever thought about doing like, I don't want to say therapy, but like art therapy sessions, because lack of a better word. So maybe like a guided, intuitive session where you have people.
Yeah. That has been an idea for me, especially like to help with this business, another like workshop or something for me to add as another revenue stream. Absolutely has come up in my mind.
They do paint and sips at wine things. So a sober, paint and I don't know, whatever, but
I actually was thinking about that recently. Like even for folks that do want to sip, like I could do a paint and sip, but you know, I'm not opposed to other people drinking.
Or like a paint and purge where you can come and talk about things with somebody. And you
my gosh, that would be amazing. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yes. I'm going to call you. Like, I'll buy your ideas.
Okay. So art that carries story and meaning. We've talked about how it means, like your art means to you and how it's like connecting and it's your soul on the canvas. In a general sense, what do you think art that carries meaning to everybody would be?
Well, for me, thinking in this line of what I'm doing with it, I think that it can carry a lot of meaning, right? I think that it can provide things like hand warmers. It can provide things like tampons. It can provide things like wound care kits. It can provide naloxone. It can provide safe for use supplies. It can provide meals. It can provide so art can heal and become meaningful in another person's life in many, many ways, depending on what that need is.
Yeah, my buddy Damien just got into like buying art or like collecting art. You're big in art. I got it clearly. I got a blue.
No, she's not big.
Well, no, I got a blue nude print out there that you
Yeah.
would be interested in. You can have
It's a
it.
Picasso reproduction.
Yeah, but it's freaking
Yeah.
nice. But
Try
no,
to
but
keep
but
Yeah, I'll take a look.
okay,
yeah.
but but Damien got into this, and I know I'm just name dropping him, but it's like
That's okay.
I started looking at these. It's crazy how he gets a totally different friggin' meaning out of the same. We're looking at the same thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that is not what I
Art
see.
is subjective.
It's crazy
Oh my
to
gosh,
me. Like
it
that
really
is crazy.
So I will paint a piece. So I just did this piece called Deep Dive, and I've shared it on social media. It will be available at the art show.
Awesome.
And so I bring it down to my daughter, and she thinks about Ponyo. Do you guys know what Ponyo
I
is?
love
Yeah.
Ponyo.
She thinks about Ponyo, and I'm thinking like, I'm taking a deep dive into this. It looks like a very watery with some mysterious things underneath of it. There's some, metallics you can see underneath there. The layering is just really rich to me. And she starts singing like the Ponyo song, and I'm like, and in that moment, I was like, that is so beautiful. Like that it really can be so many things to so many people. So really, it just is subjective, like you said.
No, and that's awesome that you're doing art. You're not like taping bananas to walls. So that's cool.
Hey, that's art to some people, right? Yeah.
He brings
I think
that
it's
up.
money laundering is what
He
I
brings
think
that
it
up
is.
because I love art. I love classical art. I love abstract art. I do have an issue with recent modern art.
I saw that installment. Yes.
There is conspiracy there. Starting back like Andy Warhol days to where he had to have something substantial to cover why they were transferring this money. And I'm not saying it is not valid because it is not all modern art is money laundering, but I do believe that there is a sect of people
Interesting.
that utilize art as a cover up for another purchase.
Yeah,
Like,
and then they're just getting sloppy. They're like, there's bananas.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
tape a
there's just
banana to the
banana on the
wall.
wall,
Somebody will buy it. Yeah,
$120,000.
somebody will buy a banana taped to a wall.
Oh goodness.
God.
Yeah,
So-
I have never really thought about it in that way. That's interesting. Now you've got me wanting to go down a rabbit hole.
It's fun.
I'm like, I need to take a look
And,
at that. It's fun.
and this is perfect because one of our other questions was, how can people support or connect with the work? And I wanted to say something prior to this. And, it's funny. I was talking to a friend earlier, and this is probably why I don't get certain opportunities because I'm very vocal, but I'm still going to say So Radiant Church, we attend them. We love them, honestly. But Radiant Church sends money over to Israel, something like that. Anyways, they're building wells out of country, which I'm all for helping anybody everywhere. Well, whatever. So people are people. I don't care if you're in Africa, Saudi Arabia. I don't care where you are. People deserve help. But what I'm getting at, how can people support and connect with the work? And what you're doing is staying right here because some people care. So you're staying right here in Michigan, Tennessee, staying right here.
In the States?
Yes.
For now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
This is an America thing for sure for right now. I hadn't even thought about international.
Understood.
I think we have enough need right here.
I just know
that
some
is not to
older
say that
cats
I
are
would
like-
never consider going somewhere else and helping folks there. I think, like you said, humans are humans, and I absolutely, if I see a human in need, no matter where I am, I'm going to help.
Yep.
So, but right now, yes, my focus is in rural areas and here in the United States.
I just feel like some people really care, and then some people might even care about staying in the state. So you're helping Tennessee. What are you doing locally? Yeah. Thank you.
So I don't do much locally. Like I said, Nate in Tennessee is my first partner. I am not opposed to. I just need more money coming in to be able to help. So I haven't come across another org or agency or another community that has reached out or that I've seen like needs things that I offer as of yet. But I am on the board of a CHIRP study by NIH. So it's like a coalition of harm reduction in rural areas in Michigan. And so hopefully eventually I can identify some folks who are struggling in northern Michigan to get the things that they need if they're underfunded and underserved.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
So
no, I just haven't done it yet, but that's yet.
We've built a huge network, so I ask stuff like that so I can just name drop you here or there, and hopefully we can help.
But the important piece is folks need to buy art, and folks, there's all kinds of things that go into play because I want to give so much, and if I don't have the funds, I'm just very limited. And so really just starting to build this thing and getting some things going. I do love that paint and purge. I'm so going to use that. I think that's amazing. That's going to be another revenue stream. Hopefully I can get some contracts soon too, and then that'll be another larger.
And then where would you accept donations at?
So there is a donation link on my website. So you want to donate, there is something there for you to donate to. You can also just purchase the art, or those are the main two ways right now. Okay. So if you can find it all on my website.
Perfect. We know enough people. Let's say they donate, let's say $500. Do you send a receipt? Because some people care about that for tax.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so with being a social enterprise and not a nonprofit, so it is not tax deductible.
Oh,
so I do have to say that. But you absolutely would get a receipt.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd ask.
It's built into the website. If you donate there, then it kicks back something to you immediately. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, throw this thing away.
No.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Did you just ask how people can support or connect with?
I think that. I think that.
Come to the art show.
Yeah.
Check out my my website. Buy some art.
So the closing message, but then we'll talk a little bit because we got about 10 minutes. But the closing message, and I'll try to say this without stuttering. Communities know what they need.
Yes.
Sometimes they just need partners who are willing to listen,
Yeah.
show up, help build the resources that allow people to meet their basic human needs.
Yeah.
Period.
100%.
Yep.
We do not need to come in and tell them what they need, right? They know what they need. But they also need some support to do that.
I love that you said that. I'm going to share this story that Amador said that I can. So this guy, he's the chairperson of the Democratic Party in Jackson. He goes, I forget what happened, but something bad happened. He goes down there. He says, you know what? I'm going to go down there and help them this way because I know they need help. And he goes down there and he's like, I was so friggin' wrong. And but he ended up helping them the way that they needed to because they know how to help themselves. They just need whatever
tools.
hand up or whatever
it is.
The tools, a hand up, not
resources.
A hand out.
Yeah, I thought that was it. Craig, I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna give them all by or whatever his thing was.
A lot of well-meaning folks want to help, but they have an idea in their head of what that help looks like.
Yep.
And I think it's so important to realize that communities know what they need. People know what they need in their community. They know what works for them.
Yep.
They just a lot of times don't have the resources to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just important to keep that in mind. So.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're 100% right with that.
How do you go about looking for artist prospects for shows and things like collaborative artists?
So this just fell into my lap. I'm probably going to do a call for artists in the future. I want to keep having these art shows. I need to look into making some prints, but so it'll probably be a call for artists. And just so I have a Harmless Art page on Facebook. I have Just Helping Out page on Facebook. Yep. I'm Harmless Artists on Instagram. So I have pages. I'm hoping to connect with folks through social media, through, whatever platform that I can, flyering, whatever I need to do. And then I think just word of mouth, really. Because that's really how, a lot of things, meaningful things develop. Yes, there'll be advertising, but folks that know, they find out, right? And so hey, I support this person. This is what they're doing. I think you would also care about that. So word of mouth is huge. Yep. And so hopefully, other artists start hearing about it, but also, I'll definitely also do a call for artists. So, and if y'all know of anybody who would like to partner, and maybe do an event with me in the future, that would be amazing.
I'm going to get you his number right after we hop off here. I think he's going to be a great.
I also do know that there are some local places that support the local artist scene. So like if you go to the Jackson Coffee Company, they have an art vending machine. They have artists who will put their work in there for purchase. Yeah. So I think that would be a good place.
I didn't realize that. I haven't been down there in a minute. That's awesome. Yeah, is that a newer art vending machine?
So it's like an old cigarette machine.
Yeah.
That's mystery art that you can purchase.
Okay, that's cool.
But they have a collaborative artist network that will put they'll have their paintings up and they rotate them a lot because there was one that I wanted that when I was like I'm gonna buy that, somebody had already gotten it. So
you're like, I guess I'm not.
Yep. So there's a lot. I also think that there is some hidden talent among our underserved populations.
I'm sure. I have no doubt. And that would be, I would absolutely love to be able to help some folks out in that way as well too. I don't require anyone to, donate 100% or 50%. That is completely up to them. I had thought, that far beyond, like, this is my first event and this is what I do. I've been, great. I'm really grateful. I've had, these gracious people who are coming in that they're going to donate 100%, but that is by no means like criteria. I don't set that for an artist. Only you know what you're willing to do with your art. And so I'm all about people making, money off of their art. And
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Art 634 as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to
definitely
get it
know
out.
about it. I've been like a solo at home, like painter, and I've done a couple art galas through the place that I work at. They have one every year. So like Artists in Recovery, but that's it for like my art, outside of, and now I'm like, well, I guess I'm really an artist, which is a weird thing to step into. People tell you that all the time, like, oh, she's an artist. And it's like, I just paint. Yeah. And so now I'm trying to step more into that scene and really just kind of embody that and step into what that looks like.
I think you would love it there. They do some great events. We went to one on death that was beautiful. Yep. It was beautiful.
Nice.
But yeah, very, very nice place.
Yeah.
Very eclectic, very diverse.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been down there. I have not been to one of their shows. Maybe I'll enter some stuff.
So just a couple extra things before we get out of here. Yeah. I think this is kind of funny. I ask a bunch of these, more successful people that I say that started a business or whatever that I look up to. Like, man, what did you do to start? And they said, well, I just started. Yeah. And is that the same experience that you've had? You just did it?
Yeah, I felt like I had to. I felt this whole, I've always wanted to. So I've always talked about, like, I just want to work for myself one day. Yeah. And I think we're always waiting for like that perfect moment, or when I have this, then I'll be ready. Or when I have X amount of dollars, you just really have to do it. You have to do it right now. You have to do it scared. You have to do it broke. You have to do it hungry. It doesn't matter. You have to do it. Get started and the rest will fall into place.
Yep. Look, I needed to hear that today.
Well, we should do the different style wrap up.
No, I already got my wrap up question. That's different. I already thought of mine.
Random wrap up questions. I'm terrified when we get to this part. You're like last time, one word. Just I'm like,
that's my favorite question.
Oh. Yeah.
And I said unbelievable, and this is pretty unbelievable.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tweak mine just a little bit. Instead of your definition of success, what would you say the definition of success for your business is?
The definition of success for my business is helping folks that need the help. And so being able to help, not having to turn anyone away. If they come to me and they need help within their community, I can provide the things that they're needing. That is success for my business. If I am able to change some systems on the level of like universities, upcoming providers and healthcares, and how they document people who use substances, how they think about, are willing to care for people who use substances. If that becomes a standard and I change that system, that's success for my business.
Okay.
Awesome. Dude, that's awesome. Katie?
Okay, so you know how they say that if you can't visualize it, that's like you should be able to see what you want, right?
Sure.
Where do you see your social enterprise and your just helping out in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see that I probably have some contracts with universities, teaching upcoming med students and nursing students, and consulting with them on ways to connect with people who use substances and people with substance use disorders. So having those trainings with those folks, having several probably art events a year that is bringing in a decent amount of money to be able to get resources out to folks in rural and underserved communities, being able to provide a capacity building or administrative support to folks who maybe don't have the capacity in their org to do that, and just being able to help as much as I can. So that's success. That's what it looks like in about 5 years.
Okay.
That's what I see.
I'm a backpedal on one thing because we interviewed you before I got to start asking this question.
Okay.
What is your favorite cereal from childhood?
Oh my gosh. Favorite cereal from childhood. So I really loved, do you guys remember Smurf Berry Crunch? I'm going to age myself with that one, but it's so good. So it was kind of like the berries, like, so I guess maybe
Like-
all berries,
Oops.
but it was
Oh, the
like,
Captain Crunch.
yes.
Oops, all
But it was
berry.
kind of also like Frankenberries, like it was Smurfy shapes.
Yeah,
instead
well,
of Franken
I can't really remember the shape, but I remember the taste.
Yeah.
And I love those so much.
Okay.
So much.
Dude,
That's
we
so
started that question after we had you on. It's been like we've asked everybody that. Like now
Like,
people
now I have to go
expect
back,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, people actually are expecting that now.
Yeah, I loved that cereal.
I forgot who it was, but at the end they're like, "Hey, you never asked me what my favorite cereal
They
was."
were
I was
ready.
like, "Oh, well,
They were
what's your favorite cereal?"
They prepared.
They-
Do you have any closing remarks, shout outs, anything that you wanted to specifically say that we didn't get to ask?
Gosh, I think we covered everything. Feel free to go to justhelpingout.health.org and take a look. Click on the Harmless Art link. See if you like anything. Come to my show May 9th, 2 to 5 at Bloom Mead and Cider. Stop by, show some support, donate.
We'll be there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for
thank
sure.
you.
Thank you both
Seriously.
so
Do you want to
much.
sign our table as
Again?
Just Helping Out?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yay! All right. Thanks for watching,
Thank you, guys.
guys.